Hello, people in Pitt County. This is your elected clerk of court, Sara Beth Rhodes, and I'm bringing you some information about Pitt County courts as we resume courts in January 2021. As many of you may know, back in December, the 14th of 2020, our former Chief Justice, Cherie Beasley, issued some emergency directives for courts. We've been under emergency directives since about March of 2020. And at that time in the spring, we did have some court closures. So December the 14th, she issued some more court postponements that would actually expire after tomorrow. So most of our courts have been postponed. We have had necessary courts and some things that have to be done for bond hearings, and if someone is incarcerated, to have their matter heard. But for the most part, courts like traffic court, assault court, wildlife court, and those are district courts, and superior courts have been postponed, and those cases are being continued. If you had a case between December the 14th and tomorrow, January the 13th, you probably got something from our office in Pitt County, if it's a Pitt County case, indicating your new court date. So all courts are going to resume on Thursday, January the 14th. So there's some changes, especially in district court criminal courts, and I want to give you some guidance so you can share within your community, share with anyone who has a court case. So superior courts are going to resume just like they have been doing business since June the 1st with some pandemic restrictions. If you have a superior court matter, seek the guidance of your attorney or appear when you're told to appear. But criminal district courts are going to have a little bit of change. One reason is we do have a new district court judge who was elected last year. It's a new position. So now we have 6 district court judges instead of 5, and therefore we'll have more district courts to try to work through any court backlog, especially since we've had to postpone many courts pursuant to Chief Justice's orders in 2020 and a little bit into 2021. So the main thing I want you to know about district criminal courts, now not civil, not child support, this is just district criminal courts, is that there's going to be one calendar for district criminal courts starting on Thursday, January the 14th, and going all the way to June of 2021, and then the situation will be reevaluated. And this is because of COVID and restrictions of numbers in our courtrooms. We don't need but so many people in each courtroom. So in district criminal courts, there is going to be one calendar, and that one calendar is going to start at 9 a.m. But we have our Chief District Court Judge Brady has issued a memo indicating that people should appear in those district criminal courts according to their last name. So if you have a case on Thursday or through June for district criminal court, like a traffic ticket, you would appear based on your last name. If your last name is Anderson, you would appear at 9 o'clock. If your last name is Rhodes, like me, starting with an R, you would appear at 2 p.m. So people whose last names begin from A to M, they come at 9 a.m. If your last name begins with N through Z, the latter part of the alphabet, you come at 2 p.m. Certainly check with your attorneys, and all stakeholders in the court system have been notified. This has been put on in the paper and on social media and TV media. And so I so appreciate GPAD and Awesome Radio for allowing me to share this information with you, their viewers. So again, if you have a district criminal matter, a district court criminal, not only district and only criminal, and those would be traffic tickets, district court probable cause, district court probation, district court Tuesday domestic violence, worthless check, assault court and district court, wildlife court, alcohol law enforcement or ALE court, and the criminal courts that go on Thursdays in Farmville. If you have a case on one of those type calendars for district criminal, then if your name begins between A and M, you need to come at 9. If it begins between N and Z, you need to come at 2. If you call our office, the clerk's office at 695-7100, option 1, we will give you that information as well. If you go online and look up your court date for district criminal courts, it will give you the date, and it normally says 9 a.m. Again, this is an order and memo from our chief district court judges to do a universal split to help the numbers in the courthouse. If you come to court at the wrong time for one of these, the bailiffs and the security at the front desk will let you know before you get in so you can come back at the appropriate time. But we just appreciate everyone spreading the word. You may not have anything, but you may know a friend that has a traffic ticket coming up and they may not have a lawyer. If you have a lawyer, your lawyer knows this and your lawyer has probably already reached out to you about it. So please spread the word for district criminal courts, all district criminal except for truancy. So that would be traffic tickets, probation, probable cause, worthless checks. And this is probable cause and probation only in district court, worthless checks, Tuesday domestic violence, assault, wildlife, Farmville Thursday courts, and ALE, that when you get the date that you're on the calendar, again, if you're A through M, come at 9. If you're N through Z, based on your last name, come at 2 p.m. and your case will then be handled. You may have a little bit of wait as they get numbers out of the courtroom, but we're trying to avoid the larger number of people all coming at 9 a.m. and also to keep our courtrooms safe. So we thank you for spreading that information. While I've got your ear, I do want to spread some additional information. My office is the Office of the Clerk of Superior Court, and I am the elected clerk of court. And our office, thankfully, after a lot of prayers and precautions, we have been able to remain open, and we've been able to remain open for regular business hours, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Of course, if we have any kind of exposure or concern or weather issue, that is may be subject to change, and we will post that with local news medias. So people come into our office all the time, even if there's not a court going on, such as through the last court postponement. They may need to pay off a court fee or fine. They may need to get a copy of something out of a file. It could be a civil, domestic, divorce. It could be a criminal matter. They may just want to check something about their court date. Of course, all that can be handled on the phone. They also may come into our office because they've lost a loved one. As the clerk, by constitution, all county clerks are the ex officio judge of probate. So we assist people when they have lost a loved one. First and foremost, our latest Chief Justice orders under our current Chief Justice, Paul Newby, who was sworn in at the beginning of January, as did Justice Beasley. Chief Justice Newby encourages people not to come in the courthouse unless they have official business. And again, unless you're required to appear for some court hearing, whether it's in front of my office, myself or my assistants, or if it's district and superior court, it might be that you can call our office and we may be able to assist you by phone before you come in. But I want to mention a little bit about estates. We have assisted a number of families in estates, unfortunately a record number in 2020, and that volume seems to continue now that we're into January of 2021. So if you have lost a loved one, you're welcome to call directly to our estates division, and that's 252-695-7108. And we will take your name, staff will take your name and your number, and they'll let you know that an estate clerk will try to call you back. Our effort is to try to call everybody that day, but if not, within 24 hours. So we can help you, we can email things to you, documents to you, we can mail them to you. We can tell you how to get them off of our nccourts.gov website. So again, to our state families, we are so sorry for your loss, and we hate that we cannot meet with you all in person and give you legal information, but not advice, but just assist you as you go through this process after the loss of a loved one. But due to keeping our staff and you safe, if you come in, we typically handle matters at the counter unless we have a conference room with sneeze guards available, and we are using those routinely for our own hearings. But we also can help you by phone for 695-7111 for the Estates Division. Lastly, I want to share with you something that has gone on in the courts, the North Carolina Judicial Branch, since I last posted a video on GPAT, and that is a new program that rolled out last fall called Guide and File. So if you go to nccourts.gov/services, or just go to nccourt.gov and search eCourts, capital C, Courts, Guide and File, you will find that you might be able to get assistance through computer, not from a person, but through answering some questions to file certain documents and print them out and either mail them to the appropriate clerk's office or to walk in and hand them in. And of course, it may save you time because the paperwork would already be completed. So what type of services are offered on the Guide and File? It is more of our simpler proceedings for which there are some forms. So there's like an absolute divorce. There's an adult name change, and not until now has there been forms for adult name change, which has frustrated some people wanting to do that on their own without an attorney, and certainly it's frustrating to us because we've not been able to assist you because we cannot give legal advice. But now on Guide and File, you have absolute divorces, adult name change, domestic violence protective orders, motions to claim exempt property, petitions to file as an indigent. In estates, you have a year's allowance for a surviving spouse, a summary administration for a surviving spouse, and a small estate administration, such as a collection by affidavit. You also have small claims proceedings like money owed, or the repossession of personal property, or summary ejectments in landlord-tenant matters. So if you're trying to file one of these proceedings, which has to be start out and be filed in the clerk's office, depending on what you're trying to file, it's whatever division, you can go to nccourts.gov/services, or just search for eCourts Guide, Guide, and File, File, and you can see what types of proceedings you can select from. So if you wanted to file, say, a year's allowance, if your spouse recently died within a year and you have not been able to change the title to, say, a vehicle, the statutes would award you up to $60,000 in personal property of the deceased spouse. You can go on to the site for the year's allowance. It will ask you some questions to make sure that this is the proper format for you under your situation, and you will type in some information and you'll have the form prepared. There will be parts of the form that would have to be prepared by our office, and it also will tell you the fee. So that would allow you to pay the fee through a check, through the mail, or to come in and actually hand it to the appropriate clerk's division and pay the fee then. But it's going to save you some time and hopefully reduce any exposure to COVID-19. So in conclusion, I just appreciate those of you listening. I appreciate you sharing this information with anyone to whom it would be helpful. First and foremost, share that in district criminal courts, all district criminal except for truancy, which has only a few cases, is all district criminal, not juvenile, not child support, not domestic, but district criminal except for truancy, so traffic tickets and that type of thing. If you have a case on a calendar starting Thursday, January the 14th, and going through June of 2021, the district court judges have indicated your case will be on one calendar, which starts at 9 a.m., but you are to appear based on the starting letter of your last or surname. So A through M, people with last names starting with A through M, please come at 9 a.m. to that district criminal court. If it's your name is N through Z, please come at 2 p.m. to your district criminal court case setting. Also, again, if you're in a state family, you have recently lost a loved one, you can call our Estates Division first, 695-7111. Again, our staff is extremely busy. We are filing estate files, unfortunately, just in record numbers yearly last year and even weekly so far in 2021. But you can leave your name, number, what estate, the name of the decedent, whether there's an estate already opened, and generally what you're interested in, and an estate clerk will call you back. We will try for that day, but it may be the next business day before we can call you back. But we can assist you very often without your having to come into the courthouse. If you need to come, we will let you know and maybe try to arrange in a time that is convenient and maybe that we're less busy. And lastly, if there's certain cases you're trying to file, like a absolute divorce, a small estate or year's allowance in estate, certain small claims like money owed, or a summary ejectment or repossession of personal property, we now have at nccourts.gov, we have a program called Little E-Courts Guide and File. It's a precursor to the judicial branch becoming more online for you to file things online. You can't file it now online, but you can go online and answer questions which will lead you to the appropriate document and fill in that document for you, indicating the filing fee. And you can do this in any courthouse. So if you're hearing this and you live over in Martin County or one of our neighbors in Beaufort or Craven County, you can file it in that courthouse with that clerk's office if that's where your case properly needs to be served. And again, if you have any questions about court matters and don't have an attorney or cannot find out otherwise, our clerk's office right now has remained through the pandemic, being open from 8 to 5. Again, we would only close and subject to an exposure and hopefully not close the entire office, but a division. But you can call our office at 695-252-695-7100. That's 252-695-7100. You will be prompted to press the number for the appropriate division. Criminal is Division 1. Or if you're an estate customer, you can call our Estates Division directly at 252-695-7111. Please stay safe out there. Do not come to the courthouse unless you do have business. If you come, masks are still required by our Chief Justice orders. Mask and distancing are required. We have put in protocol for your safety, but again, do not come in if you have COVID or COVID-like symptoms. If you have some type of case on, please let the clerk's office know in the appropriate division. We will let the judges know. They may require you to send in some kind of doctor's note for documentation. But wherever you go in this pandemic, as we continue to see it ongoing and numbers rise, please be safe. Please use safe protocol like the 3 W's, wearing masks, waiting at a distance, and washing or sanitize your hands. So thank you all for listening. Please share this information. God bless. This is Sara Beth Rhodes, your elected clerk of court of Pitt County.